What's up, everyone? Today is August 17th of 2023. The topic of today's video is a powerful storm that's been brewing for several days off the coast of Mexico. Earlier today, winds became strong enough to upgrade Tropical Storm Hilary to a hurricane. Now, this hurricane is projected to eventually lose steam and stop right around the city of Los Angeles and the state of California. Last week, I made this video explaining how Hurricane Dora, whose winds were blamed for spreading the disastrous Maui wildfires, was a numerical riddle to previous wildfires in the state of California and its governor, Gavin Newsom. The second part of that video explains the wild 666 riddle that connects a kids show from the early 2000s called Dora the Explorer, which the hurricane was clearly named after. And now, for the second consecutive week, we have another hurricane that was named in honor of an early 2000s kids show. And again, the number 666 is of strong focus. Now, this time, the hurricane has been given the name Hilary. The most famous person in American pop culture named Hilary is Hilary Duff. Even this website agrees that she's number one by far. Now, the hurricane only has one L in it, so this disqualifies Hillary Clinton, but we will look at how Clinton links up with all of this as well. Hilary Duff rose to stardom in 2001 with the debut of Lizzie McGuire, a popular kids and teen show that would eventually lead to a feature Hollywood film of the same name. Now, this television series was filmed in Hollywood, which is essentially exactly where Hurricane Hilary is projected to end in a few days. Now, there's another important TV show I'll talk about here as well. Hilary's last name, Duff, is a well-known fictional beer product from the longest-running animated series of all time, The Simpsons. Before the end of this video, you will see how this all points back to the book of Revelation and a significant Wormwood riddle that even ties in the Chernobyl disaster from 1986. Now, if you're new to this channel, we talk obviously about numerology, but a very significant component of this that many people overlook is the language of Gematria. This is a very simple practice that numbers the alphabet 1 through 26. Now, if this was the only observed cipher, things might be a little bit too obvious. So there are also these modified methods where the alphabetic order is either reversed or reduced, this cipher also called Pythagorean. So when you first come to my website at gematrinator.com, you actually get a palette of 4 ciphers. And as we will explore throughout this video, these 2 extended methods, which provide much larger numbers than the base 4 ciphers, are also heavily attributed in this story. So let's get started and talk about Hurricane Hilary, again with one L, syncing up with Hilary Duff. Today's date, August 17th, when the hurricane was upgraded to a hurricane, today is not only 323 days after the birthday of Hilary Duff, but it's also 217 days after the original release date of Lizzie McGuire on the Disney Channel. Now, the numbers 323 and 217 are found in the Gematria of Lizzie McGuire. You'll see this capitals mixed cipher. Another very important one, also based in ordinal but with capital letters intertwined. But the real number of focus is going to be this 217. Again, today, 217 days after the television show's anniversary. The digits in 2107 match the digits in 2017, and today's date also falls 20 years, 107 days after the premiere of the Lizzie McGuire movie, which came out on May 2nd, all the way back in 2003. Now, why is 2017 so significant? Well, back in the year 2017, there was a highly significant total solar eclipse, the first coast-to-coast eclipse over the United States in over 99 years. And what's so interesting about that is that just a few days after that solar eclipse, we had something called Hurricane Harvey, which leveled the United States around the area of Houston. So here's a look at Hurricane Harvey. You'll see it formed on August 17th, 4 days before the Great American Solar Eclipse, and then leveled Houston, Texas, making landfall on August 25th, 4 days after the eclipse. And again, this made landfall over the Houston area of Texas. And it just so happens that Hilary Duff was born in the city of Houston, Texas. Now, on the date of this eclipse in the year 2017, Hilary Duff's age syncs up with this eclipse remarkably. Now, eclipses always occur 1, 5, or 6 lunar phases after the last eclipse. In ancient Hebrew gematria, the word for eclipse sums to 156. And in the English alphabet, the phrase eclipse the sun also equals 156. On the date of this 2017 eclipse, Hilary Duff was exactly 1,560 weeks old. Now, this measurement is also 10,920 days, and in the Latin method, or Agrippa's key of gematria, I call this the most significant cipher that exists. The word eclipse sums to 192. So, what an amazing age for this woman on that date. This year's Hurricane Hilary also syncs up to the next Great American Total Solar Eclipse, which occurs in April of next year, begins in the southwest, and sweeps over through the northeast. Notice how today's date falls 235 days before the next American eclipse. Of course, 235 is a significant number to eclipses. Consider how the sun has a declination of 23.5 degrees both north and south of the equator. That's what gives us the tropics of Cancer and Capricorn. Meanwhile, in the moon's metonic cycle, this is a period of 235 lunar phases. And in the reverse cipher of gematria, Hurricane Hilary sums to 235. 235 is also the reverse gematria of the Society of Jesus and 3.14. Now, I talk a lot about the Jesuits, or the Jesuit order, known as the Society of Jesus. Their emblem is essentially an eclipsed sun. And of course, this is circular, which connects to pi, the first 3 digits being 3.14. But the number 235, not only is it 235 days to this eclipse, but that eclipse is in the year 2024. And in ordinal, the Society of Jesus and 3.14 equals 224. In fact, the date of that eclipse, April 8th, that's typically the 98th day of the year, and both of these terms also sum to 98 with the S exception. So why is this important? Well, the Society of Jesus essentially uses significant eclipse numbers in their own numerology. In ancient Hebrew, the phrase for total solar eclipse, which translates more accurately to full solar eclipse, has a gematria value of 280. This Hebrew standard cipher, identical to the standard English method that's seen on the right side of your screen. Well, this brings us to the Saros series. Now, eclipses from the same Saros series are separated by 223 lunations. And this is very important this year, obviously, as we are in 2023. However, this is also an average of 18 years and 11 days. So 18 years and 11 days between eclipses from the same Saros. In Latin Gematria, the Society of Jesus sums to 1811. And the number 1811 is the 280th prime number, which brings us back to total solar eclipse. The last name Duff, as I mentioned earlier, links us to Duff beer from The Simpsons. And when you measure from Hilary Duff's birth date to the debut of The Simpsons, it was 2 years and 80 days, which is also 811 days. So here you have this sync with the eclipse code, Hilary Duff to The Simpsons. So speaking of this number 811, from Hilary Duff to The Simpsons, this brings us to another big part of this riddle. And the book of Revelation, now again, both the Hurricane Dora and now Hurricane Hilary, heavily synced to the number 666, which is revealed as the number of the beast in the book of Revelation. Now, Revelation 8:11 talks about the star Wormwood, and twice it mentions waters, which is, of course, relevant since hurricanes develop over the ocean. This verse, 8:11, for users of my website, members have access to the Bible search tools. And here we see the Gematria. Revelation 8:11 sums to 1377 in the alphabetic order. And how interesting is it that 1377 is the Latin Gematria of Lizzie McGuire? Now, the number 811 is also a prime number. 811 is the 141st prime number. And this is important in the book of Revelation because Revelation 8:11 is the 141st verse of Revelation. Notice how Duff sums to 141. Hurricane Hilary also sums to 1410. Now this brings us to Chernobyl. Chernobyl sums to 141. Now, as Wikipedia states, Revelation 8:11 is connected to Chernobyl, as Wormwood, when translated to Russian, essentially gives us the word Chernobyl. So this sends us down another rabbit hole, but it actually makes more sense of all of this. And when you look at the date of Chernobyl, 426, this actually connects us to my most recent video on my channel, which was about the death of Johnny Hardwick, a voice actor from the show King of the Hill. And the eclipse code is very significant to this video as well, but in that video, I explained how the death of Johnny Hardwick was actually a riddle for Aaron Judge of the New York Yankees. This April 26th date for the Chernobyl disaster is also the birthday of Aaron Judge, born on the 6th anniversary of Chernobyl. And that particularly stands out because today's Hurricane Hilary upgraded on August 17th, which is the 6th anniversary of Hurricane Harvey. Hurricane Harvey formed on August 17th of 2017. Now, Aaron Judge is the home run king of the American League for single season with 62 home runs. Consider how the home run king in the National League for many years was Mark McGwire, after breaking Roger Maris's record in 1998. Of course, Roger Maris's record was the one that Aaron Judge broke in the American League. Well, this last name, McGuire, brings us back to Lizzie McGuire. So how interesting, right? What are the odds that my last video talks about the home run record in 426, and now we get this sync with Chernobyl and Wormwood? Measuring from the Chernobyl nuclear disaster to Hurricane Hilary gives us 37 years and 113 days. Well, 37 is the gematria of both Hilary and Duff in our standard gematria ciphers. Hilary 37, Duff 37. Whereas the names Lizzie and McGuire both sum to 113. Now, Hilary Duff was born in connection with the Simpsons and the Chernobyl disaster. Chernobyl went down on a date with 116 numerology. This date was also the 116th day of the year. In reverse standard, the name Duff sums to 1106. And notice how Hilary Duff was born exactly 116 weeks before the premiere of The Simpsons, which premiered 1,331 days after the Chernobyl disaster. Now, the number 1331 is one of the few numbers I have a post specifically about, as this is considered the ultimate eclipse number. You can find this post linked down below in the description, and it really dives deeply into this code and explains why this number is so important. So Mark McGuire, when he broke Roger Maris's record, it happened in the year 1998. Revelation 8:11 in reverse gematria, this verse we've been looking at with Wormwood, notice how in reverse it sums to 1998. Now the number 1998 is what leads us into the 666 part of this riddle. Notice how the number 1998 is 666 times 3. We just mentioned this 1106 gematria of Duff, tying into Chernobyl and The Simpsons. Well, 11 hours and 6 minutes on a clock is 666 minutes. And then this number 1331 is just one shy of 666 times 2. So let's dive into the 666 part of this riddle. And to begin, we'll explain the connection with Hilary Duff to Hillary Clinton, who certainly would be the most famous Hillary in pop culture if her name only had one L. Notice how the names Hilary and Duff both have gematria of 283 in various methods. Hilary Duff was born 2,083 weeks after Hillary Clinton. 2,083 is the Latin gematria of 666. This was a number I talked about in my video on Dora the Explorer. When the Lizzie McGuire movie came out in 2003, and think about how 2 divided by 3 gives us 0.666 on a calculator. And when you write out 0.666, it sums to 230 in ordinal. So the Lizzie McGuire movie came out in 2003. And look how old Hillary Clinton was when that movie came out. 666 months and 6 days. Now, this movie also came out 216 days after Hilary Duff's own birthday, and the name Duff sums to 216. Sorry, guys, I got a silver alert on my phone. You scared the dickens out of me. All right, I forgot where I was. The name Duff equals 216, and 6 times 6 times 6 equals 216. Now, wait a minute. There's an elderly person walking past my window. I wonder if this is who the alert is for. No, I'm just kidding. There's no elderly person out there. All right, back to the decode. So, Lizzie McGuire belongs to the Walt Disney Company, And I've done several posts explaining how the Walt Disney Company sums to an upside-down 666. No surprise there. Of course, the Disney logo even has an embedded 666 in it. Pretty obvious, I think. So 666 is revealed as the number of the beast in the 229th verse of Revelation. You'll see here, the 229th verse of Revelation reveals 636 as the beast's number. Now, today, August 17th, when Hurricane Hilary was upgraded, this is the 229th day of the year. Now, Revelation 13:18 is again where this is all explained. And I mentioned this in my video on Dora the Explorer because Dora the Explorer sums to 13:18. The Chernobyl disaster occurred in Chernobyl, Pripyat, which sums to 13:18 in Latin. And look how old Hilary Duff is today. 13,108 days old. Amazing. Hilary Duff has reduced birth numerology of 44. The television show Lizzie McGuire debuted 4,044 days after The Simpsons. Now, notice how Simpsons has satanic gematria of 404. The satanic cipher in gematria primarily built around the number 666, as you can see on the screen. The book of Revelation has a total of 404 verses in it, syncing up with Simpsons. Well, today is exactly 404 months after the debut of The Simpsons. That's right. From December 17th, 1989 to today is exactly 404 months. Now, there's another alignment when you look at this. It's also 33 years and 8 months. Well, 338 is the capital gematria value of Hurricane Hilary, 338. To bring this home, I want to talk about how this is connected to skull and bones. Now, viewers of my channel might even be getting tired of hearing about skull and bones, and in fact, I've skipped over skull and bones riddles in some recent videos, but it never fails to be significant, as this year, 2023, Yale University, which is home to skull and bones, turns 322 years old. And in the standard alphabetic order, skull and crossbones sums to 223. Order 322 is their nickname. Notice how The Simpsons has remarkable gematria overlap with skull and bones, including the number 572 in Latin. Also a 59 and 76 with the reduction ciphers. Now, back in 2017, which was the same year as Hurricane Harvey, we had this episode of The Simpsons called The Caper Chase, which featured Skull and Bones. The Skull and Bones Secret Society. There was a member named Bourbon Verlander. I'm kind of curious to see what Bourbon Verlander sums to. Of course, we got the 93. Huge occult number, and 186, which is 93 plus 93. But this is just to demonstrate that The Simpsons is well aware of their numerical connections to skull and bones. So the item that links Hilary Duff to The Simpsons is Duff Beer. And notice how Duff Beer has reverse gematria of 149. Well, on today's date, Hilary Duff is exactly 149 mercurial years old. Today is also 149 days before the anniversary of the Lizzie McGuire TV show debut. The Lizzie McGuire movie even came out 149 days before Hilary Duff's birthday. And 149 is the ordinal gematria of skull and bones. Now, as I pointed out earlier, skull and crossbones sums to 223. And think about how the 223rd prime number is 1409, very similar to that skull and bones gematria. But this brings us back to Houston. Using capital letters, Houston has gematria of 223. And once again, Hilary Duff, born in the city of Houston, the same city devastated by Hurricane Harvey. Of course, Harvey, Hilary, both the 8th named storms of the season. I also thought it was noteworthy that Hilary Duff has matching 11 and 16 gematria with both numbers, 223 and 322. These numbers also appeared when measuring to the television show. Lizzie McGuire debuted 106 days after her birthday and ended 110 days after its anniversary. So if we measure from today's date to the date of Yale University's anniversary, that's never fun to say, right? Yale University's anniversary. I swear I'm straight today. If we measure to October 9th, when this university turns 322 years old, you get 53 days. And the 53rd prime number is found in the gematria of Lizzie McGuire, 241. Finally, today has primary numerology of 68, which connects us to the Chernobyl nuclear disaster. Chernobyl equals 608, while nuclear disaster sums to the 68th prime number, 337. Notice how Hilary Duff was born 337 days after Hillary Clinton's birthday. And the number 337 shares ordinal gematria with both 223 and 322. This number is 295, and Hillary Clinton is 295 days after her birthday today. But really, the big thing to take away from this, today the 6th anniversary of the formation of Hurricane Harvey, both storms the 8th of the tropical season. And this all comes just a few days after the big sync with Aaron Judge in 426 from my video on Johnny Hardwick. Aaron Judge broke Roger Maris's record just like Mark McGuire, tying us back into Lizzie McGuire. And then Aaron Judge, born on the 6th anniversary of the Chernobyl disaster, just like how today is the 6th anniversary of the formation of Hurricane Harvey, which leveled Hilary Duff's hometown. All right, guys, I think that does it. Thanks to everybody for tuning in. Whether you're watching live or archived, please feel free to like, share, subscribe. Peace, love, God bless, and we'll talk to you next time. See ya!